Happy Tuesday, everyone. I have a special guest on tonight, and it is 9:30 my time, 7:30 Central Time, and we are talking to Dr. Ryan Molis from Molis Coaching. Welcome to the Clear Perspective.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Allison. This is going to be fun. It was nice talking to you last week, and I'm looking more forward to talking to you today.
Yes, and our listeners have a huge treat today because this is going to be one of the best ways to start your year, really, is learning from one of Invisalign's top providers. So I'd love it if you could just kind of give our viewers who maybe haven't met you or heard of you a little bit about you and why this is a really exciting conversation today.
Well, Allison, I'm not sure that we should start off about me because don't you have some news to share today that you became faculty at Align Technology?
I did. It was such an exciting event. I was thrilled. I've been wanting to be on faculty for since I was 10 years old. So it was,
You thought you were putting me on the spot right away, and I just threw it right back at you.
I love it. I love it. No, it was very exciting. So we are both helping tons of doctors and team members really just stand out in the Invisalign world. So this is a really exciting conversation today.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So what was your question? I'm supposed to talk about myself a little bit?
Yeah, just give us Cole's Notes version of who you are, why this is an exciting conversation for.
I currently own 2 practices, only 4 operatories, no associates that do Invisalign. I have 1 associate in my first office that just works 1 day a week for me doing restorative. And I've done over 6,000 lifetime cases of Invisalign, became the top provider in North America, and currently still do a little over 500 cases a year. And about 3 years ago, me and my business partner, Scott, decided to share the secrets to scaling Invisalign success in a practice. So we built an online education platform called Molis Coaching. So check it out at moliscoaching.com. And that kind of takes up a lot of my time now. So I almost say I have, 2 full-time jobs, one as a dentist, but I have a passion for teaching. So I used to teach at the dental school that I attended. And now I'm back into it, but just teaching docs how to do Invisalign and really how to make it easy and not as tough as a lot of people want you to think it is.
Definitely. And I have to say, you make it look easy. And I think that's a huge question that people have all the time. So since our Facebook, so our Instagram live we did last week, we're send us questions, what questions you have. And of course, any viewers that are watching today, feel free to just pop some questions in the chat if you have them. But really the main question is how do you do it? What is your secret to success, if you will?
Well, let me answer it this way. So we actually had some people come into my practice and find out what made me special, and the answer was nothing. So they reverse engineered both my practices to find out how I consistently did 500 cases a year. And it really broke down to 3 things. Mastering marketing. Allison, I would be lying to you if I said, heck, I spent $50,000 early on in a one-time shot, and it gave me a nice rate of return of $1,500. So marketing is not about dollars spent; it's about spending it wisely and getting your maximum rate of return. So I've been doing this for 20 years, and I finally figured out, marketing-wise, how to really attract the Invisalign patients. So that'll be number 1 is marketing. Number 2, the team. And Allison, that's where you get the big smile. I'm only in the operatory for 5 minutes. I rely on my team heavily. Anyone that's heard me speak at the summit or has heard me on other webinars, I could not do this without my team. And that's what allows me to scale. So it's really utilizing your team. And I'll tell you what, Allison, even when you give your team members more responsibility, the way they walk in the practice, the way that they stand up tall, because they realize they are such a key part of the success of the practice. So that's pretty cool. And then the third would be clinical, how to do a clin check in 5 minutes or less and how to get that patient perfect the first time or close to. So if you're going to do additional liners, it's only about 6 trays. And again, this is not me doing this. This is me saying, hey, learn from my mistakes, because it's taken me 400 cases to figure this out, 300 cases to figure this out. So I think that would be the keys to my success is working smarter now. I used to work really, really hard, and I still do, but now it's easy and it's fun. And Invisalign allows me to have a great life, not financially, but just from a business owner standpoint, and walking into a practice, realizing, oh, let's check my schedule. Okay, yep. Hardest thing I have to do is a DO composite. I mean, it's easy what I do, and it's fun. So that lets this 45-year-old body keep on kicking. So that's really the three main things I would say.
No, that's so good to know. And I think the thing that's like really hopeful is like what you're doing is not something that is like totally magical and just like something that you are the only person in the world that you can do because of like your magical skills. And so I think that's important for doctors to know. Like I see a lot of doctors that get really frustrated about their ClinChecks. They get really frustrated about posterior open bites. They get really frustrated about, spending a lot of time working on their ClinChecks. And so when you say, 5 minutes per ClinCheck, that makes me know that you've done enough of them to really know what you're looking for and how to make this systemized to make it easier. So that's so hopeful for a lot of doctors. Like you can learn this.
Allison, and it's fun. So we have a private Facebook community for our member docs, and every now and then we just get messages. Ryan, it's amazing what it's done for my practice. I did 5 cases a year. Now I'm doing 5 a month, or now I'm doing 5 a week. And so you hit the nail right on the head when you said there is nothing magic about what I'm doing, because docs are replicating it all over the country, all over. Really, we're in 10 countries now. So Molis Coaching, we almost have 2,000 doctors in our program in 10 countries. So it's pretty cool.
That's really cool. And so it's a system that works, and a system that anybody can adopt. So what would you say, like last year was a tough year for dentists overall? Being a dentist on a regular day is not the easiest thing. And then you have a year like 2020 and COVID. So what would you say was like a standout experience you had in building resilience?
So we call it the flywheel of momentum. It sounds pretty fancy, right? What it is it's where, as a dentist, the very first patients you look at for Invisalign treatment are those sitting in your chair. Those are in your office. So you take your patients that already trust you and know you get them in Invisalign treatment, and then with word of mouth marketing with Invisalign treatment, Allison, that's so powerful. New patients walk in your practice, and they become general dentistry patients. So we have about an 80% conversion rate of new patients who come to me just for Invisalign, and then they stay for their routine cleanings and their fillings and their crowns, and then they refer their family members. Before I started rocking out a lot of Invisalign, I would have those donut days where you're busy in the morning and you have the hole, and then you're busy in the evening. I would sit, I'd read a book, I would, see what's on TV. Now, try calling and getting an appointment at my office. I'm probably 4 months booked out. And by no means am I a better dentist than probably anybody on this webinar right now, this little Zoom. I'll tell you, patients want to just stay with me out of convenience. That's just the nature of it right now. So when we came back from COVID, there were patients that were banging on our door to get in, to pick up their Invisalign trays, to get the fillings done. Sure, there's patients who were a little bit scared, understandably so, but there's plenty of patients who wanted to come in, and I can attribute that all to Invisalign. So that's what helped grow both of my practices to scale to that amount. So again, it's called the flywheel momentum, and it's really magical, and it just really helps rocket the numbers through the roof.
I love that. I absolutely love that, because when I go through like practice numbers with any one of my clients, we look at like, okay, what was your Invisalign revenue that you pulled in like this past month? But the other thing that we can account for in that is how much other dentistry did those Invisalign patients bring in. And I don't know if you guys have like a really good formula to calculate that, but it's massive. Like patients, when I was working clinically, we would align the teeth and we'd be like, so what do you want to do about that space back there now that your teeth are, perfectly aligned? And I was, oh yeah, like I definitely want to get that implant. It just made that conversation so much easier. So I can definitely see how that would be something, an incredible way to grow a practice.
We track our numbers. That's one thing that you have to do. We track our numbers for marketing. We track our numbers for that. And it's more than double. So it's more than double our cost of Invisalign is what I get for the average patient for that year because of the restorative aspect or even just the simple deep cleanings or regular cleanings. It's again, that's what the magic is.
Yeah, 100%. So what would you say the one lesson that your doctors would need to watch or adapt when they like go through Molis coaching? What would be the one thing that they would really walk away with that would be the most valuable for them?
Wow, I'm going to share something pretty incredible. So we call it the big four, and it's four things, and I'll touch on them really quick. You're really trying to give everyone a pretty valuable lesson today. Number one is it sounds simple. View every patient as an Invisalign prospect. People are like, oh, well, yeah, I do that. You probably don't. So whenever any patient walks in my office, I'm just laser focused on could they benefit from Invisalign treatment. Don't assume because they're 60 years old that they might not want Invisalign. I mean, think about Allison. You have these direct-to-consumer companies that every day patients are buying clear aligners off of pop-up ads. If that could be such a successful business, those are our patients doing that. So isn't it our job to offer it to them and give them a doctor-led treatment, give them a better product? I mean, we're not going to sit here and even discuss what's a better product. We know what Invisalign is, so give your patient that option. So that would be number one. View every single patient as an Invisalign prospect. Number two, check ortho coverage. For me, and I think you heard me say this at the summit last year, I have my office manager, my front desk, call every patient in the schedule to see if they have adult orthodontic coverage. I'm not even kidding you. I got to start today from that. And when it's funny, again, a doc will ask in the Facebook community, it seems like it takes my office manager a long time to make those phone calls to check, because you got to call to check the orthodontic coverage. Is it worth it? 10% of patients in the US have adult orthodontic coverage. So if you're seeing 40 patients a day, that's 4 people a day, half of those should start. Half of those should start. That's 2 starts a day. If you're working 4 days a week, I mean, and again, when you find out that they have ortho coverage, you make them feel special. Do you realize you have $1,500 coverage? If you change insurances, if you switch jobs, the chance you having that coverage again is less than 10%. So that's the second magical thing that took me a while to figure out. Number 3, I get this, and these are, I know you asked for one thing, but I'll give you 4. Start every, for hygienists, I used to get hygienists walk up to me. Hey, what conversation do I need to have with my patient? What should I memorize? I'm like, listen, you don't have to memorize anything. It's just so simple. Does the crowding of your teeth bother you? If so, doctor can talk to you about Invisalign. That's it, right? We all know marketing is 6 touch points to every sale. Mm-hmm. So Invisalign's advertising on the NFL, they walk in your office, they see a brochure, your hygienist mentions it. It's not a hard sale, Allison. People think, oh, Ryan's doing 500 cases a year. He must be jamming this down their throat. Patients are asking for it. It's just a simple mention. And it's shocking how many patients say, well, yeah, I've heard about it. Yes, I'm interested. Oh, I can do it. I'm a candidate. So that would be the third thing. And the last thing, a 4-minute chairside consultation. In the last 20 years, I've taken a lot of lectures, a lot of classes, and it's been interesting to see other dentists' opinions on have a patient come back, spend 45 minutes, go into full detail about what you're going to do. And then we always make the analogy, you don't go to an orthopedic surgeon for a knee replacement, and they don't go into detail about, all right, let me tell you, I'm going to cut you open, we're going to saw your bone, they just say, you're in pain, we're going to replace your knee, we're going to make you feel better. So we have a 4-minute consultation speech that all the members of Molis Coaching get. And it's taken me about 10 years to really figure it out so I can do that consultation speech right in the hygiene chair. I pretty much answer all the questions, and then all of a sudden you see our whole office start to act. It's almost like a beautiful dance where assistants getting the scanner ready, front desk got that treatment plan ready, and within another 2 to 2.5 minutes, that's it. It's done. We just made a couple $1,000s, and it all led by that simple sentence that the hygienist said. So that is, I guess, the one lesson that if your viewers leave with today, that they can implement in their practice tomorrow and really change their Invisalign practice.
I love it. I love it. And because I see it all the time, I see a lot of doctors try to do everything themselves. I see them try to overcomplicate the processes. And I see them, kind of like hesitating to bring it up to patients that like might be over 60. But I remember like doing Invisalign on 60, 70-year-olds that were like going to their son's wedding and they really wanted that beautiful smile. But oftentimes they don't know that it's right for them. And so when we just allow our patients to have that opportunity and we educate them, it gives them the opportunity to say yes. So I love that. And it sounds like, I'm not sure if you've ever read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you haven't.
I have not. I wouldn't be surprised if my business partner, Scott's the big reader here. So he might have, but tell me, what's up with it?
So what I was thinking about when you're clarifying these things is that you've been able to create some really successful habits that you do day in and day out that aren't complicated, but they allow for that success and consistency over time. And that is kind of the way that we achieve goals. It's kind of like the system that James Clear says to achieve goals is like doing these daily habits over time achieves this type of success. So it sounds like you're doing all of that right. And doctors that, implement those type of habits in their practice could achieve the same success.
I love the fact that you said doing the same thing over and over in the simple systems, because that's exactly what we're about, right? It's just with Molis Coaching, we all say it's a single, simplified, scalable approach to Invisalign success. That's the 4 S's. But you're right. It's just these easy habits that people say, okay, those 4 things I just said, I mean, how easy are all 4 of those? Simple. But Allison, those 4 things can increase your production easily $250,000. And so if doctors are like, oh my gosh, why haven't I been doing this? Well, that's I don't know. Why aren't you?
Exactly. And like doctors can literally just like close the Zoom now, close this Facebook Live now, and like go and do that tomorrow. And there will be an effect on their business. Like
100% yes.
Exactly. Scott just commented, love Atomic Habits. High five, Allison. Yes. I imagine he would read that book. It's great.
That's awesome.
This is something that, like one of the reasons why I was super excited to connect with you, in my journey through Invisalign, I get doctors often really frustrated about complicated cases, and to the point where like they just don't take on complicated cases anymore. And when I talk to other consultants, like my friends in the industry, they're like, the reason why my clients aren't doing more Invisalign is their clinical confidence. And that's unfortunate to me because I feel like we can do something about that. So what suggestion would you make to an Invisalign provider that encounters like a really challenging clinical case?
So it's such an important phrase to us that we actually trademarked. It's called trust the plastic, right? I never think I'm smarter than Invisalign's R&D. You're talking about a company, Allison, that's spending tens of millions of dollars making their product better all the time, every year. Patients come to me for Invisalign treatment, for clear aligners. They don't come to me to sell them a vibrator, to munchies, any accelerators, propel, drill holes in your bone. So I've successfully treated 6,000 patients with only the Invisalign plastic because it works. They have the optimized attachments, and I could go into detail of all the special things about Invisalign and other patents that really make it such a far superior product. But if you simply just understand how to do a ClinCheck, which we go into, we have a whole module called the ClinCheck Roadmap. Once you understand that a ClinCheck shows forces being applied to the teeth and not the final outcome, and understand how it works. And it's funny, Allison, so we have one of the levels in our program is the ClinCheck support. So we have docs who after 3 months, 4 months, they send me their hardest cases. Okay, Ryan, I'm gonna send you my hardest cases. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. And then all of a sudden after 5 months, 6 months, they go, well, the class 2, it's another class 2, but you're just doing the same thing you did in the first class 2. Correct. Like, there's no reason to make this complicated. Nor, oh, okay, so it works. You try to make it simple and explain what you're doing and why, and all of a sudden it just clicks. It's like riding a bike. If you do the same thing over and over and over, there's in my career, I've snuck in, I think I told you this before, I've snuck in a bunch of orthodontic classes. And a lot of times you'll get people, look at my great case up here. Everyone can show 4 or 5 great cases, but they don't show the 20 that they messed up on. I have zero problem showing a posterior open bite and saying, all right, and we just filmed a video, 7 steps to preventing a posterior open bite. Let me show you how to prevent this mistake from happening. With Invisalign plastic, Allison, I guess the short answer is don't complicate it. I love what you said earlier. Trust the plastic and you can really take on any case. That's it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And so do you see, like, you know, in your Facebook group, I've been in your Facebook group, and I must say, like, it's kind of funny for me to see, like, I'm expecting somebody to post a case, and then all of a sudden Ryan Molis shows in and comes in and comments. But first, you see all of the supporting doctors, like, they're just like firing away, trying to help out and like using the same like terminology, the verbiage that you use. Like, it's like they all have caught on so quickly and are so supportive in that group. So I guess I'm kind of answering my own question, but for the sake of just making it super clear, like, do you see like massive clinical confidence in the doctors that you see coming into your program?
So when we started this, you know, Scott, who's obviously on, he had this vision of creating the doctor Facebook community where docs would go 24/7, 365 and get real-time help and real-time answers. And our vision was just to have a supportive group where everyone was doing the same thing. So then you're not getting conflicting, wait, what do I do? Like if you go to a course, if you take 10 courses, you're going to learn 10 different ways. Mm-hmm. And then after, I would say about a year, we looked at each other and we're like, we did it. It's unbelievable. The support, I cannot be happier when you log in there, just seeing all the supportive docs who want to see their peers succeed. Like, for one of the first times, I'm in a community where everyone's excited to be there and excited to help everybody out. Here's it. We all start at zero, right? We all start at 0 cases with no clinical knowledge. And it's cool when all of a sudden you see the doc from 10 months ago is asking the questions. Now a new doc comes in and this doc's like, I got this.
Yeah.
I got this, you know? And that's neat. And so, yeah, I jump in there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to answer this. No, I'm not. Because everyone's helping each other out. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And then the other neat thing is when you see docs saying, you know, should I take on this case? And I was like, you got this. Do it. Try. Here's the big secret, right? The 65-year-old that is asking for straighter, whiter teeth does not want jaw surgery and does not need their class 2 to be perfect. Now, do we ever make class 2s perfect? Of course we do. But again, it's all about listening to your patient, listening to their chief complaint, addressing it. And again, it'll just blow up your practice. And it's so fun.
It really is. And I think that's like something that I really kind of like love to see is just like, you're almost like, it's just like a confidently relaxed attitude towards Invisalign, where I see sometimes like doctors will overcomplicate things, feel very stressed out about it, like overanalyze everything. And it doesn't have to be that way. Does it take a lot of experience to kind of get to the knowledge point that you're at? Yes, of course. But you're able to teach it in a way that allows dentists that are just coming into Invisalign or have been in Invisalign for a while to take their skills to the next level without all of the headaches.
Absolutely. And that's, you know, I've had the headaches. That's why I have the gray hair. Yeah. So I guess my job is to save doctors from losing their hair, having to go gray, because I've already been there. But yeah, that's the whole point, right? And that's again, one of the main reasons we did this. So yes, it doesn't, to complicate it, you know, you cannot scale complexity. Mm-hmm. Simplicity scales, and that's it. Simplicity scales, and also relying on your team scales. So that's some of the secrets.
Exactly. So you don't have to do it yourself. It doesn't have to be complicated. Trust the plastic and follow those 4 strategies that you pinpointed, and really just watch this video again and go into your practice tomorrow and do these things, and you're
yes.
It's crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So if doctors wanted to know more, like tell us about, getting into the Molis coaching and coming into this group of supportive doctors.
I mean, just check out the website, moliscoaching.com. We started building this. It took us about 1.5 years to put this together. Again, we almost have 2,000 docs. This February is 2 years that we've been, we are a strategic partner with Align Technology. So we're not owned by them, but we are their only strategic partner for online education. And check it out. And Allison, for you and the people on, we decided, we talked earlier. I said, Allison, we'll take care of some of the docs on this call. So if there's ever talking about a tough ClinCheck, if anyone joins, they email my team. If they join tonight, email my team. I'll do one of their ClinChecks included. I'll help them out, because again, it's nice to have that backstop for me to be able to help you with your ClinCheck, and for you to realize it's not that complicated. And trust me, if I could do it, you could do it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. Like, that's amazing that if you guys join tonight, Dr. Ryan Molis will help you with your first ClinCheck or your hardest ClinCheck, but that's massive, because I know you don't do that for really.
Never. We've never done it before. We've never had to. But I figured, Allison, you and I get along well, so I might as well help you out as well and take care of you and take care of your docs.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I will actually leave a link as well on this Facebook. You can go and check out the essentials. If you have any questions for me, I've looked at the program, I've seen it. If you have any questions for Ryan, you can also comment on this video, but definitely just implement these strategies, guys. Like, take on these habits, make them repeatable, and there's successes that you guys have seen in your coaching practice again and again. You've seen it repeatable. So just go ahead and implement these things and start your year off like having an amazing Invisalign year.
So we all want. That's what, stay resilient, right? Invisalign's going to allow you to do that. And stay current, stay modern.
Exactly. That's exactly what I talk about in my lectures. It's just like everybody wants Invisalign, and being able to provide it in a way that allows you to have less stress, more fun, provide exceptional care for your patients. Like, that's what we all want for 2021.
Absolutely. And plus, you don't want to lose your patients to the competition down the street who's going to offer Invisalign and out of convenience leave your practice. I mean, that's how I grew both of mine. So the patients got to come from somewhere.
Exactly. And all doctors, if you're watching this, like, you can do this as well. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on tonight, for providing these like valuable lessons, and also for providing anybody that's watching this, if they sign up tonight, having the support of a ClinCheck and being able to work through it with you. It's incredibly valuable. So I really appreciate it. And I hope that we get to help some doctors start off the year right.
Agree. And Allison, congrats again on being a Align faculty. That's awesome. I'm happy for you.
So much.
Good job.
Awesome. I will see you soon. And thanks again.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.